All right, it is May 22nd, 2023. This is Atlanta United FC Weekly, a home before dark podcast. Neither of us. Angie went and took advantage of the sale at Costco right now. It's like less than $7 for a 30-pack of LaCroix. So we loaded up on that, yeah. But it's still sitting and it's getting cold. It's been a good night. How's everybody doing tonight? Thank you for joining us. I'm Tim Herb. As always, I'm joined by my lovely co-host, Mr. Kevin Bradley. Over to the right side on the screen. Happy birthday to Dan James, who could not make it tonight because he's out being old. Hope you're enjoying being old tonight, Dan. It's a good time. You doing all right tonight, Kevin?
Yeah, not too bad.
Yeah,
rainy evening. So
yeah, it is. It's dreary. I'm just turning into an old person from the Progressive commercials though, because we need it. Grass is looking pretty good. We got Richard Gordon in the trap, Josh Pagransky, and we got Jay Henneball. Nice. Yeah, a couple WTFs in the comments. I don't know if you saw the title of tonight's episode: 7 goals, 4 points. What the fuck? I'm sorry, WTF? Why the face?
Yeah,
and it's kind of a weird roller coaster of a week for Atlanta United soccer.
At least there's been some positive sides to the roller coaster, and it's not all just been the down part of it. You know?
Yeah, I would be remiss if I didn't congratulate one Miguel Almiron on his Newcastle Toffees. What am I talking about? Magpies. My brain is a little scrambled. They qualified for Champions League next year. So
that's awesome.
He hopefully will be playing Champions League soccer next year in Europe, which is pretty damn awesome considering where he was under Steve Bruce whenever he went over to Newcastle. It's always good to see those guys growing and getting to experience those types of things in their career. So yeah, it's fantastic. Even if it is at the expense of Liverpool not making it into Champions League, it will be nice to see Miggy tearing it up. So we got Kevin is commenting under the name Bradley D. Happy birthday, Bradley D. Says I share a birthday with Dan. Well, happy birthday. I thought your birthday was in August, Kevin. You're really good at that one-hand typing.
I just change it up, you know.
We got Anthony Neitzel in the trap too. Evening. How's everybody feeling tonight? I mean, it's like we said, roller coaster. Kevin, you're probably going to be more on the positive side, it sounds like, than on the negative side. Or no?
I just think that there's actual positive takeaways from it versus what we were talking about just a couple weeks ago, where it's like, okay, we're losing to St. Louis now, or not St. Louis, but who was it in Open Cup?
Memphis.
You know, coming off
barbecue.
Of that
I totally get you. It's barbecue city. It's totally fine.
Yeah, I mean, coming off of that run, those couple of weeks there, where it's like there's just no positive takeaways from those matches, and to actually get one result and a partial one that's less than thrilling, that Atlanta certainly should have come away with the 3 points this past. I mean, Atlanta should have gotten 6 points this past week. Let's be honest, but to get the 4, I'll take it. Especially considering I was getting closer and closer to hitting the panic button based on more recent performances out on the field, and also to say with recent performances on the pitch with the lineup that we kind of saw this past weekend against Chicago, where a lot of the lineup was sitting for the better part of the game, but actually managed to put up 3 goals. So that's good to see.
Yeah, I guess that if you want to stick to positives, it's in the title, right? We scored 7 goals across 2 matches and pretty evenly, right? 4 and 3. And the one thing that stands out to me is that despite not starting, despite grabbing his hamstring and giving us a heart attack every, I think 7.5 minutes is whenever he was dropping down and grabbing his hamstrings, both games, I think. Yeah. Yorgos Yakimakis with 3 goals across 2 matches, 8 goals in 10 games.
Yeah.
And he started, if I'm not mistaken, 5 or less games, right?
Yeah. No.
It's
not many. Yeah.
Yeah, most of his goals are coming in matches that he's subbing in, and usually in the second half. And he, well, you want to start with him because I think
sure.
it's before we start getting into the negative spiral. He looks every bit the home run DP signing that.
Yeah.
Even more so than what he's doing more than I expected him to, especially considering how little he started for us. 8 goals is insane in 10 matches.
I was gonna go back and look at, I mean, just to check in on the vault basically from when we started out the season on what we were all thinking would be the sort of predictions for how many goals he would get.
I don't even know, was he on the team whenever we.
Yeah, he was, and
Okay.
we all had him down as the goal leader. I had 17, Dan had 19, you had 18. So
I think
yeah,
we're all going to be shy of that if he
I
could
think
stay
so.
healthy.
Certainly looks that
Yeah.
way, doesn't it?
Yeah, for sure. It's and I think part of the great I don't know, he's what am I trying to say? He's versatile. The way that he's scoring, whether it's one touch that he had off of the header from Gutman. Again, I'm talking about the Chicago game on Saturday.
Yeah.
Yeah, the ball coming back across the box, being able to just pin that in, being able to somehow beat an offside trap that I didn't think he beat. I thought he was offside, but beating that like on a through ball, being able to score with his head, like we've seen him do basically everything. He runs his ass off. There's, I mean, probably a good reason his hamstring is worn out already after coming in and just, I mean, he comes in for a 45 and runs more than most players do in a 90. I feel like at that position.
More than Pity Martinez did in 3 years.
Yeah, exactly. I want to see the Opta stats on ground covered between Pity Martinez in a year and a half and Yorgos Yakimakis in 10 matches. But he's been an absolutely outstanding player. The team is completely different with him in the match, on the pitch. I think that seeing Almada has an outlet to actually play those types of through balls to. If you have a guy in the box that's going to be that power vacuum that Joseph was, I'm sorry I'm hogging so much airtime, but I'm just very excited about what he's bringing to the team.
Mm-hmm.
And the fact that he's doing it in 45 minutes or less in most instances.
Yeah, no, I completely agree. And it's certainly a good perspective whenever, everyone's thinking, well, Joseph's maybe turning a corner in that Miami game. He gets the 2 goals after not really scoring much in the beginning of the season. And I'm pretty sure those are the only 2 goals he's scored since. So again, you freed up a DP spot for somebody that's scored now 4 times as many goals. And with a significantly reduced amount of play time, I'll take that all day,
Yeah, for sure. Joseph does have 1 goal in the match after they played us. Yeah. So he's got 3. So it's,
So sorry, 3 times.
Not quite quadruple. Yeah.
3 times.
3 times. Yeah.
Sorry.
Yeah, exactly. He, I know everybody is yelling at Pineda to start him, but the one thing
if he's
I keep
not
going
100%
back to is
match fit, I don't want him in the game.
I don't either from start. Yeah.
Because you don't need him to, obviously. He's not playing full time and he's still producing results.
Yeah. So that said, I know the pragmatist would say we got a point on the road in the second game of a 2-match week, but my brain immediately goes to we drew while we were up a man, up 2 goals. Or no, we were never up 2 goals.
We were never up 2.
Yeah, we were up just 1.
Yeah.
We were up 2-1.
We were actually down a goal with being up a man at one point.
Yeah, that own goal, I guess. It was
weird.
It was like an Olympico type of,
yeah.
But I think they still gave it against Wanho on that goal. So but again, they're 12th in the East.
Yeah.
They haven't been a good team. Granted, I think they're on kind of a new manager bump after I think a couple weeks ago, 2 weeks ago. So maybe that's something there. Colorado's a bad team, and we dispatched them the way that we should have at home, and I was very excited about that. We haven't talked about the Colorado match at all. That even after what seemed to be like a deflating moment at the beginning of the match with Thiago Almada missing that penalty to still come and score 4 goals. Granted, it seemed a little nervy in the first half. Definitely, it seemed like they took control in the second half.
Yeah. And Giakoumakis has another great goal in that game too. I mean, the flick was just spectacular.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know. What were your thoughts about, I mean, the Colorado match? Is that I take a look at these two, and I don't know if they're or like a tale of two different teams almost. Because I mean, the first half there really wasn't a ton to write home about against Colorado. I didn't feel like.
Yeah.
I mean, Thiago Almada scores the free kick in the first half, right? But
was that the first half? I can't remember.
I thought it was. Maybe it wasn't. For
All
some reason, I thought it was early on in the
running
match.
Together at this point for me, so I can't.
Yeah, it was in the 29th minute.
Okay.
So we get that goal in the first half, but then completely dominate in the second half.
Yeah.
Whereas against Chicago, we go up a man pretty early.
I think it was like the 29th minute or something like that.
Yeah, and it seemed like a pretty listless effort in the first half, I felt like. I guess I take that back. We did score immediately off of the red card, right?
Yeah.
Thiago Almada puts a shot on goal on the back post on the free kick from the left side of the 18, and Gutman's there to clean it up with his off foot and does a great job. But from there, it seemed like until the second half, I don't know. I just keep feeling like we're a little aimless. And I think a lot of it, I mean, Josh P brings it up. He says, why Barry, though? And granted, he won us that red card and that free kick.
And I heard the broadcasters try to make that point for Barry that, it's got to be frustrating for Barry that he comes in for 70 minutes and he does all the work up top that Giakoumakis comes in and cleans up at the end. And I'm not buying that necessarily, that like somehow he's putting on this work to get a defense on their heels so that Giakoumakis comes in and is the benefactor of it. But at the same time, like, it's not that he's just a traffic cone, but at the same time, it's not like he's slotting anything away or making me go, yeah, he's clearly the next man up. I think that, to your point, he wins the foul that ends up leading to the PK or the free kick rather. But even with that, it's few and far between. I think he gets a little lost in the mix, but at the same time, while we are a little rudderless at times, another big point of discussion is the fact that we've got confirmation now that Aruju will be transferred. What was it, July 18th or?
I think it's his last match. I think is in June.
July 17th or something. Oh, okay. I thought it was July 17th for some reason. I had that date.
I think the original thing was like the 26th of it. He'll stay with the club through the 24th of June in that match. Yeah. And honestly, after what happened on Saturday, I don't know if we'll see him much in the squad. I mean, that was that was real dumb.
Yeah, it really was.
Like, at least do something that looks worth the yellow card. Don't just do like letter of the law, shirt tug. Just make your impact known, right? You're gonna get that. I mean, you get 2 cards pretty close together, right? They were like a few minutes apart.
Yeah. But even still, like I said, it's just, man, it's just, I've gotten whiplash from this team so much over recent weeks because we didn't record last week, and that was coming off of the at-home drubbing that I wanted to just pull my hair out at. That was just an awful match on when was that? What was the score line was just ridiculous. I think
Charlotte? 3-1 against Charlotte. Yeah.
Where, man, I get the operators at the bins not wanting to put stuff up whenever it goes against Atlanta, but whenever it's a VAR call, you gotta fucking put it on the screen so we know what's going on. Like the whole Gutman shirt tug VAR PK in that Charlotte match, and nobody in the stadium knew what was going on. It's like, come on, guys.
Even Jason and Mike Conti, Jason Longshore, Mike Conti, we were up in Maine. We were driving from, I think we were in Portland, driving up and put on the Odyssey app, which I don't know if we've ever talked about, it's like a godsend whenever you're away and you're traveling and you can listen to the match for free in your car from your hometown guys. It's a great asset to have. But even they were both incensed by the call. Like Jason was irate that he was given a red
such a
card.
light, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, it was pretty light.
But like I said, I mean, even still, that result going down 3-1, feeling like this team is
on a tailspin.
rapidly heading towards the bottom. Yes, the Chicago final result is disappointing. It would have been a lot more disappointing taking 0 points out of that match, scoring 0 goals. I mean, I get that. Yes, statistically speaking, Atlanta should have closed that game out and come away with that win handily, but they didn't. But you've at least got 1 point out of it on the back of another 3 on a short week turnaround. It is what it is.
Yeah, I mean, we're sitting right now still in 4th. Granted, we have a game in hand on Philadelphia, who's right behind us, nipping at our heels with 21 points. We're on 22. In Orlando, it is Orlando Hate Week.
Sure is.
And they're 3 points behind us, and they have a game in hand also. But you have to, I mean, to look at, I don't know if we didn't really do like quarterly or a third of the way through the season projections or whatever. But right now, I feel like sitting in 4th place, all things considered, is pretty decent. I know a lot of people.
The fact that we haven't slid down further is astonishing to me. I mean, Atlanta went through a winless streak of like a month winless, I think it was, right?
Yeah.
I mean, to go a month without a win and still be sort of middle of the playoff table. I mean, that's great. It speaks to what they're capable of and what they came out and produced early in the season that you hope that they somehow find a way to get back to. And I don't think that they're completely out of that realm of possibility. I don't know what the magic bullet's going to be to get them there either, though.
Well, I think a lot of it is going to depend on what we do in the summer transfer window. You talked about it. Luis Araújo is going to Flamengo, or is he going to Fluminense? Yeah, he's going to Flamengo. Yeah, we're getting like 9 million euros, something like that for him, which is less than we paid for him, but he's 2 years in, kind of underperforming. I think we're happy.
What was his fee? 16?
That sounds right. Either that or 17. Let me look real quick.
Fee, though. I can't remember.
Let's see. Transfer market US. He was accept all cookies.
For some reason, I thought 16 was
no, it was 11 and a half.
Yeah, I was thinking 16 was high. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. 11.5 million euros. So we took a 2.5 million euro loss.
That's not terrible. I mean,
no, not at all. Yeah, especially considering he's like valued right now at 6 million by transfermarket.us. So anyway, that frees up a DP slot. We heard rumblings from Garth and or Pineda a couple weeks ago saying that they plan to bring on between 1 and 3 players this summer. We have a DP slot open now after June 24th, and I don't know. It'd be interesting to see where we go, because I haven't had a chance to look at the list of free agents in Europe, but Europe's going to be, I mean, European soccer from a league perspective is done, I think, for the most part this weekend, if not next weekend for some leagues. But there's surely going to be some guys that are available that haven't signed transfers yet. I mean, Roberto Firmino has not signed a deal with anybody yet. He's 31 years old.
I mean,
like Liverpool legend. Like, if he
do you go the fucking route of just like, look, you got one spot, just throw it all in on that and say,
yes,
look, you know that you're not going to keep Miles around more than this year. Almada's gone after this year. Like, this one piece could potentially catapult you into that conversation of a potential MLS run this season. Does the front office have the stones to say, look, we know that this player is literally going to be here for 6 months and we're going to pay the premium for the hardware, knowing that this may be their last stop or it's a loss afterwards, but we can at least get them in the door and make a major move to take a run at this thing.
Oh man, See, I'm of the mindset of the latter. Like, I feel like knowing we're going to lose Almada, if not this summer, then in the winter, right? So you have that spot to fill with another young DP that's going to be kind of like a transcendent player, I guess. But you have Giacomakis, who, I don't know, it seems at his age like he's going to be here for a while. Why not use that third spot for some sort of mercenary for the rest of the year, right? Like, we're in a unique position where we are, like you're saying, we're losing that DP halfway through the season. We have to make up for that. Like, yeah, do we make a splash, get somebody who's available now, and then, available for even for the next 6 months? There are a lot of players on this list.
It'll be interesting to see if Atlanta does it, because that would be so contradictory to how these teams have been structured over the past handful of years, right? Like, this team has not been predicated upon the quick turnstile of get somebody in and get them out, and who cares what the cost is. It's very much been a business transaction of, we're going to get somebody in, we're going to pay high for them, but because we're going to develop them and sell them for even higher. It'd be really interesting to see what the team could pull out should they decide to go all in on a marquee signing that they know there's probably not a return on investment in that they're going to go to the next level, but your return on investment is a trophy.
Yeah, I don't know why you wouldn't go all in on somebody like N'Golo Kante, who is exactly to what Mike German is saying, grab a DP box to box midfielder, or like in this case, a really stellar. I mean, I guess Kante plays box to box, but also like defensive mid. I don't know. There's so many guys. Like, my brain is just going a mile a minute right now looking at this list and all
it's
the
just like, I just don't
like,
know which way the team, the front office goes, because I could see them trying to pull something out of their ass where they try to just use that to sign Miles as a DP position to then buy him down next year, but it keeps him on contract with the team.
Well, I don't know if you could you buy him down next year if you gave him a DP size contract for the. I guess
it depends on how much it is.
Yeah, I don't know. And then whether what the league looks like in terms of salary structure next year or in coming years, right? Like,
like I said, I have no idea which way this thing may go, but the thought of them heading that route is exciting. To maybe get another big name in the lineup that gets people excited to go in the door too.
Dude, that's another thing. Yeah, I would die, but I think that Roberto Firmino is going to go to he's going to go to St. Louis. I'm pretty sure, but I don't know. Patrick Delaney saying I would go with an elite 8 and then do a TAM winger. It's fine by me. I think we do need a great number 8, somebody to pair alongside Ibarra, because I mean, I did mention, somebody being able to play defensive midfielder. Ibarra has been pretty solid in that defensive midfielder role. And if you could play somebody, I mean, there's not a Darlington Nagbe in MLS outside of Darlington Nagbe, but if you could play somebody like that and that style next to him, I think it would open up a world of possibilities. I don't know, man. Like, I'm excited about it. I'm not going to get my hopes up too high, but when I look at the signings that Garth Lagerwey made in Seattle, I think he has a pretty good track record for this sort of thing. So, yeah. I don't know. Let's see who else is in here. Anthony Knights will definitely need a proven 8. Josh Pagriansky saying, I doubt we let Almada go without a loan back deal. It would be interesting to see, especially if we think we're going to be in contention for an MLS trophy this year. Carl Segi in the trap. You got to feel good. Congratulations to Newcastle getting a Champions League bid. Also didn't say Brittany S is in with us. She's just a little late. I had to call her out. Call her out and shout her out at the same time.
We should be getting close. So I know Carl said he's been saying it for years to have a keeper DP position. We should be pretty close to hearing some reports of Guzan's return at this point, right?
Yeah, I would think so. What were we sitting at? I'm trying to think how many games we've had one of the two backups in. I want to
Feel
say
like
at
it's
least
been at least
5 or 6.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, speaking of which, did you see Clement Jop got a yellow card at the end of the Chicago
No,
game?
I did not.
AJ's looking at us like, that one of our assistant coaches like, oh, that's Jop coming off the bench and yelling at people and getting a yellow card.
Did not see that.
Yeah, it's pretty great. Pretty great. Westberg I wasn't super thrilled with the way he played on Saturday, but yeah, I hope we get Guzan back sometime soon. If not, just for the consistency, because Westberg has some like spectacular highlights in him. Like the save that he made against Colorado on Wednesday was just unreal. But then I don't know, just
so that's the other thing too about that Chicago game. What's their keeper's name? I can't remember. It starts with a B, I think.
Barry. Yeah,
Barry. He had some incredible saves, man. I mean, he kept them in. It's not like Atlanta limped out of there. I mean, those 3 goals could have easily been
Brady. Sorry, Brady.
Yeah. I mean, those 3 goals could have easily been 5 or 6. I mean, he gets a paw on one of Almada's free kicks that was right on target. You know, he gets a hand on. He got a hand on another like volley from Almada that was outside. Another free kick. You know, like there were several opportunities that easily could have gone in for goals, but he kept them in it. You know, got to give credit to them too. They came to play, and you got to give credit to Chicago too. They didn't just sit back and bunker. You know, they actually went out to win the game, and I think that might have caught Atlanta off guard a little bit too, being up a man. You know.
Yeah, 100% agree. And Chris Brady is 19, replacing I think.
So that was the interesting thing with that, is because whenever we had played Chicago earlier, I thought it was interesting that the manager was not going to allow him to go play for international duty for the
U20s.
The U20s. I was like, wow, that's kind of like a shit move for a guy that can maybe go to the next level. But I get it. Like they want somebody that it's like, you're our guy. You want to be our guy. We need you to be our guy. And, you know, really develop under it. And it's starting to show, you know?
Yeah. 19-year-old Chris Brady replacing who at the time I think was either 17 or 18-year-old Gaga Slonina, who went over to Chelsea, who's probably going to be the U.S.'s number 1 in a couple of years. They're producing pretty good goalkeepers. That's man, like I feel like was 2 of the goal. I honestly, all 3 of them were kind of like clusterfuck FIFA goals, right?
That
like whenever you're playing with your,
it's like hand in the palm, like what the fuck, you know?
Yeah. That one, yes. But Ronald Hernandez, is he at fault for goal number 2?
Which one was that one?
The one that Shabilko plays off his chest to Haile Selassie. The ball over the top to the 2 guys on the left side. I have to go back
and look at it again. I can't remember. Like
it seemed like Ronald Hernandez was a little off of that play, and he really wasn't following Haile Selassie on that ricochet. I don't know. It's hard for me to really blame him for that. But then just the last goal too, just like the ping ponging around in the box and just like the luck of the draw where it lands, I guess. And
it's right at the end of the match too, basically. I mean, it's just every time you turn around and you think Atlanta's got it locked up, and then something else happens, you know?
Yeah. Kendrick Brock said sign another young DP so we aren't in a bad situation when Thiago leaves. I mean, yeah. But then are we going to sign 2 young guys once Thiago does leave? Like I don't know. I just think it's an opportune time for us to make a big splash with a European-based free agent and just go for it. Do the Gareth Bale, do the Zlatan, even though like neither of those were DPs, but
no, yeah.
Just do it.
Yeah.
Do it, man.
Yeah, I mean, especially if you've got the capital to do it with, because if anything, to Kendrick's point, like signing another young DP so we aren't in a bad situation whenever Tiago leaves, like, I don't know, man. If anything, that's kind of an interesting prospect that that you've got those two spots opening up and you can get two guys that at the same time that are going to play in tandem with one another out the gate, rather than trying to shoehorn one guy into the way somebody else is playing or somebody else that you've signed. You can really open up the playbook a little bit more by the types of prospects you can go after to know, this candidate's going to pair well with this or vice versa,
Yeah. Yeah. I just want them to fit into the team. I don't know. Yakimakis fits in the team. Almada fits into the team. Araujo doesn't really at this point. Seemed like he was going to. Didn't really pan out. Wish him the best.
Yeah. No,
I
absolutely.
don't know. Yeah, make way, I guess. But yeah, we need reinforcements. We probably need to trim a few pieces from the wage bill too. I don't know if guys like I loved Santiago Sosa, but I don't think he's really like up to snuff anymore on this team.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, you've got such a dearth of center midfielders right now, and you don't need all of those guys. I mean, maybe we do at some point or another, but geez, what do we've got? Like 6 center midfielders right now?
None of them really footing the bill.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. See, like Carl Segi is reading my mind. He wasn't even listening. He said, "Hear me out." And N'Golo Kante is out of contract at Chelsea and fits the Nagby-sized hole. Yep, he's only 32 years old too. So get him for the rest of his career. Just do it.
I just don't know. I know that everybody's worried about Almada going this summer. I don't know if that. I don't know. I just don't know if his stock is higher in the summer versus at the end of the season.
Well, I think it would be higher.
I know it's higher because of the league windows in Europe, but at the same time, like you've just got a more of a resume at the end of the season to buy from, I think, But the way he's playing right now, I don't know that you need all of that extra reel to make a decision on.
Yeah.
I mean, he's scored what 3 free kick goals already this season?
Yeah.
Just that alone. I mean,
yeah, that's quite a bit. Mike German saying Sosa was great on Wednesday. I mean, Hosatu's had good games too. I feel like I just don't. I don't know. Maybe he's improving, but I haven't seen the consistency from him that we did whenever he first came into this team, and since his sports hernia injury or whatever it was that had him out for so long. I think
it's just the way he's been deployed, man. Like whenever he first came on, the way that he was being deployed to really be that defensive midfielder that then was capable of moving and threatening on the other end of the ball, and who he was paired with, that fluidity of his ability to move that ball from 18 to 18 just hasn't been the same. I don't know what in the lineup or what in the way that he's operating has changed, but I don't think it's just his performance. I don't think it's just him. It's something in the tactics that has completely changed how he's being utilized. And I don't find him as threatening as he was in that position because he was making these darting runs through the midfield before and then creating a lot of distribution that we just don't really see with how he's being utilized now.
No, I agree. And I feel like, and I'm probably wrong, I've been wrong a lot and I'll continue to be wrong, but since he had a long injury layoff and he struggled really bad, it seemed like, to come back from that injury. And he hasn't looked the same to me since coming back.
Yeah.
I don't know. I love the guy. Like, I really like his play. Like, I like his play style, but at the same time, like, it kind of fits with Etienne, right? Like right now,
Yeah.
like I like the way Etienne plays, but I don't know that he's really fitting and really playing well with the team right now.
God, especially whenever you consider how great Gutman and Wiley have been over on that side. Their
Yeah.
wake-up play over there and the chance creation. I mean, let's just talk about Gutman for a minute. I mean, my God, as much love as Almada will rightfully get on this team, I mean, right, and same thing with Yakamakis. I mean, Gutman has got a strong bid to be a DP for what he's producing in this lineup week in and week out. I mean, I don't think that that's obviously the way the team's going to go with that DP, but for what his production rate is and what he brings to both the offensive and defensive side of the ball, I mean, to not be a DP, we are getting the most out of Andrew Gutman than any other player on this roster, I think, right now. That's not.
Yeah, I would be interested to see, like, match rating wise over the course of the past year, what other left backs are have performed better than him, like on a Sofa score, or who scored whatever foot head metric or whatever it is, because he's just constantly he is so consistent with this team.
Yes.
In his ability to create chances, his ability to bomb down the wing to like fit into the midfield on occasion, and then also to track back and like to be able to get back on defense. Like we talked about it ad nauseum, but left back is such a hard position to fill, and to have a quality like that sitting on in our starting lineup is just amazing. And to have that so that you can transform Caleb Wiley into an actual left winger and give him the ability to really shine at his age, I think is just such an asset to have on the team. I love the guy to death. I think he's been amazing. I have missed Caleb Wiley quite a bit.
Yeah.
Since he's gone off on international duty, but excited for him to come back. I haven't been keeping up with the U20 World Cup.
I haven't either.
Yeah, I don't know if he's featured much. I guess let us know in the trap. I haven't been able to keep up with it. Trying to find the USA matches. We played Ecuador on Saturday. Looked like we won at the last second. Yeah, Caleb Wiley's been playing, I guess, left mid. Yeah, Kendrick Brock calling out Gutman is making less than $400,000 a year right now, which is
that's
criminal.
Unbelievable. That's unbelievable. Criminal. Yes, it is.
Oh my gosh, that sounds crazy.
Mm-hmm.
That sounds crazy to think he's making that. And how much was Arujo making?
I cannot remember.
Hold on, we didn't even talk about the salary report that came out. We haven't recorded, I don't think, since the salary report came out.
No, we have not.
Hold on, I'll pull it up real quick. Let me see if I can find. We are third in wage bills.
Wow.
Yeah, to Toronto, who's number one, 25 million a year, almost 26 million a year. LA with 23 and almost a half, and then we're at 21 and a quarter a year. Let me see. This is reported as of April 2023. Where is Arujo?
4.5 mil. Kendrick's saying.
Yep. Guaranteed compensation 4.483. It's crazy.
Yeah, it really
is absolutely crazy. Like our guaranteed compensation,
think about that. He is making
more than 10
times
11.
Yeah, 11 times what Andrew Gutman's making.
Yeah,
11 times.
And almost 2 times what Almada's making. 2 times what Barco's making.
That's even crazier. That's even crazier to me.
1.5 times what Yorgos Yakimakis is making. Yakimakis is on like 1.75 million a year. That's insane. Like the amount of
is his agent, because that dude
needs to be fired.
No, he's clearly done his job. I mean, he's done exactly what he's hired to do.
Oh, Aruju?
Yes.
Yeah, I thought you were talking about Yakamakis only getting a little less than $2 million a year.
Aruju's agent may be one of the best sports agents in the world.
Yeah. Gutman's on $381,000 a year. That's crazy.
That is unbelievable.
Yeah, he's making almost 12 times what Gutman's making.
And did Kendrick say he makes Gutman's salary in 3 matches?
Yeah. Oh, hey, Tyler Wolff got his first goal.
Yeah.
And he didn't seem happy about it being his first goal either. And I think it was just because it was such a shit goal, scoring that like wide open net and deflection and just being the last guy to touch it in. Yeah, it's oh man, I'm trying to see who else was on this. Marcelino Moreno, 600, still 600,000 a year. I don't know how much of that we're footing the bill for with his loan. Derek Etienne is he's at 660 or 676,000 a year. Abram is at 695,000 a year. Looks like Lennon's salary went up a good bit recently.
Which this weekend was the first time he's played.
For the first time he started, right?
Exactly.
And then let's see. Hosetu's at 764,000 a year. Lennon's on 700 now. Miles is on like almost $1.5 million, 1.43.
As it should be, I think.
I mean, Juanjo's under 500,000 a year. He's making less than Eric Lopez is.
Wow.
He's making a little bit more than Edwin Mosquera is, who's on loan, right? Where's he on loan at? Defensa y Justicia in Argentina. It's always interesting whenever those salary numbers come out, man.
Yeah. Who's the bottom of the league? Minnesota still?
I wouldn't be surprised. Let's see.
Remember, it took them like 3 years to even hire their first DP, I think.
Yeah, let's see. Paul Tenorio had posted this just to give him credit from Paul Tenorio from The Athletic. Montreal is bottom. They're at $10.5 million a year in their wage bill. St. Louis is at $10.9 million.
Wow.
How are they
doing in the West?
I want to say they're in 3rd or 4th still. Let me see. Yeah, they're in 3rd. And they have 2 games in hand on Seattle, who's a point ahead of them. So they're really only 3 points behind LA. LAFC, not LA Galaxy, who are last in the West.
Yeah, pretty terrible there.
Yeah, really terrible. St. Louis they really did a great job building that team.
Yeah,
they have, I'm pretty sure is Hoffenheim's old sporting director, who I'm pretty sure is the reason the rumors were swirling that Firmino's going to go there. I don't know if that'll end up happening, but let's see. Montreal, St. Louis, Red Bulls, 3rd to last, which is no surprise because they don't have it. I don't think they have a designated player. No, they do. They have the racist. I don't know. Van Zier, was that his name? Dante Van Zier. I think he is a DP. Yeah, he's a designated player, but they're always cheap. They always go with academy players, and they always tend to do pretty well. Orlando is 4th to last, and then Real Salt Lake is 5th to last. Minnesota's not far, so you were like $1.7 million off from being correct on that, so not far. Minnesota is not really big on spending.
Just a third of Aruju's salary.
Oh my gosh, yeah. Actually, I guess I should I could share this real quick as Paul Tenorio's Twitter page, just so you could see it, and the people that are watching on YouTube. Yeah, Toronto, LA Galaxy, who are 2 of the worst teams in the league, are top of the league in salary bill, and then us, DC, who I think are like turning a corner. Maybe, yeah, they're in 6th. Austin, Chicago, Seattle, New England, Miami. I wonder how much of Miami's is Joseph's contract.
Wow. So is San Jose not utilizing a DP either right now?
Well, hold on. Let me see. I'll have, let me share this
Force name?
tab. Let me see.
Yeah,
Let me
because
share
what's the
this tab.
yellow? Yellow's the DP, right?
Yeah,
DP
yeah,
color? Yeah.
yeah. Let me see. No, San Jose has Christian Espinoza.
Okay. So it's
So I don't
just
know. Yeah, I don't know why that bar chart was like that because Espinoza's a DP. And so is Jamiro Montero. I think, and then they have Carlos Guerrero too. So I don't know. If I go back to that, I'm not sure I understand. Designated player salaries above 1.6 million. Okay, gotcha. Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah, not a whole lot of surprises here. The surprise is really just in the performance of both Toronto and LA Galaxy, honestly.
well,
Yeah.
yeah, exactly. The surprise is that Toronto is spending all that money and they're the bottom of the table. Like that's what's just mind-boggling to me. I mean, you've got all this money on the field and zero of the
No output.
results. Like that's the worst it can possibly be, to be at the top of your expenditures and bottom of results. I mean, there's some really, really big, as much as everybody's here for this person out, that person out, Boca out, everything else, like
Out.
it could be a hell of a lot worse, man. At least Atlanta's getting something for what they're paying for. I mean, the fact that they're spending that amount of money and they're bottom of the table that would not be how I'd want to be for sure as a club.
Yeah. Let us know in the trap. Are you currently Pineda out? Or are you Pineda in? I would be interested to know how you guys are feeling. It seems like Twitter is constantly a hot and cold cesspool of just.
How frustrating was it every time they were mentioning what Pineda was doing in the midfield that you thought Pineda had come out on the field and was doing something? Like at one point they were like, Pineda just went out on the field and like, I forget what they said. I was like, what the fuck's he doing right now? Like he just pulled the jersey on some player. I was like,
oh my
why
God.
would he do that from the sideline?
Oh my God. Even if there wasn't a Pineda on the Chicago team, I wouldn't be surprised if they were messing somebody's name up just because the broadcast crew on Saturday that we had was just terrible.
Yeah.
They were very bad. Like whenever Arujo got his red card, they thought it went to Yakimakis. They're like, oh, he said the magic words to the ref. It's like, no, that's not what happened. He's not even looking at Yakimakis with that. So, yeah. Yeah. Bradley out, not specifying if that's Michael Bradley, Kevin Michael Bradley, Bob Bradley. Yeah. Yeah. Kendrick, he says, if we're firing Pineda, we got to get rid of Boca with him. I have no interest in a new head coach hired by Boca Negra. I don't disagree with that. And then Anthony Neitzel, Tony saying, not Pineda out as of yet, but it's getting warmer. I'm still more on the Boca out side of things. I think you give Garth another transfer window with Pineda. If things, it's hard because of where we are in the standings. It doesn't seem that bad, but I feel like we're like one or two guys getting injured away from just like an absolute tailspin.
We are one win off of the highest amount of wins in the East right now. Like Nashville and New England, which are the two teams ahead of us in the East in second and third, have 7 wins. Atlanta's sitting here with 6. Now, Cincinnati is a little bit of a different story. They're sitting there with 9 wins and 3 draws. They've only lost 1 game. I mean, that's a completely different story. But if you're comparing to other people here in the table, I mean, you're not doing that bad, all things considered. I mean, 4 losses is middle of the table here. I mean, it can be a lot worse. And whenever you look over in the West, it's the same deal. Like the West has a little bit of a better distribution where their top 3 teams are all sitting there with 7 wins. And I mean, again, Atlanta's not doing terrible from a production standpoint. Now, the winless over the course of a month, you don't want to see that, but all things considered, it's not, it could be a lot worse.
Yeah. I can't help but like daydream about Frank DeBoer with this team and how organized the defense would be and not giving up. What are we? We're worst. We have the worst defense in the league, right?
Do we? As far as goals conceded?
Only second to Charlotte. Charlotte's
Yeah.
allowed 25. We've
Yeah.
allowed 24. And then
Montreal at 22, Chicago at 21.
LA Galaxy. Even LA Galaxy has only given up 23. We've given up one more goal than LA Galaxy.
Yeah. No, we've conceded a lot, which is shocking, yet also not. Like, it's shocking more so because you know who you've got on the defensive side of the ball. But whenever you consider that you're on your third or sometimes fourth string keeper throughout this season, it's like, okay, I kind of get it. So,
even because like even if they're not directly responsible for the goal, like that Olympico, then how many goals really come as a result of a lack of organization that comes directly from the goalkeeper and being able to communicate effectively with his back line the way that Brad did. So
what do you think about, so here's the other thing to think about, and it kind of answers Kendrick's concern, and we've kind of beat around the bush here. What type of player we get for this third DP slot? What do you think about two DP strikers in this lineup?
Yes, that's Roberto Firmino. You get a guy who is unselfish, that can score the ball, who can play off the ball, who can just he opens up so much stuff, and he's one of my favorite players of all time.
Because right now,
I need to bring him in.
This lineup is so hindered by the fact that if Giakoumakis is out, Almada can't do everything. He can't score every goal. He's going to score a handful of them for sure. But having another threat up top, I get where everybody's coming from as far as wanting a midfielder that is a box-to-box midfielder. But at the same time, like, I'd love to see two lethal threats up top that are both just chomping at the bit to slot one home. I mean, say we do it, man. You got my vote.
Yeah. Dude, everybody, like, I don't know if this is necessarily cognitive dissonance, but I feel like everybody was wanting those 4-3 wins, right? Like, not winning 1-0 or like drawing whatever 2-1 games. Yeah, go for it, man. Just go balls to the wall. Like Giakoumakis said, like this league wants to score goals, and they're a league that wants to play.
That's it.
Bring in Roberto Firmino, and
I want to run a 0-0-10 sort of lineup. Just 10 forward. Nobody outside of the opponent's 18-yard box.
Oh my gosh. I don't know why that image of Shinji Kagawa and like maybe one or two other Japanese national team players. Do you remember seeing them play? Did you ever see that video where they're like dribbling the ball and playing against like 40 kids?
Yeah.
That's what I want to see.
Yeah, exactly. That's exactly what I want.
Yeah. God, that would be so exciting though. Yeah. Tony's asking, who's our right wing on Saturday? Lennon right wing, Hernandez on right back. Yeah, I actually really like that.
Yeah.
I really like that because you can rely on Lennon to be somewhat defensive, given that, I mean, neither of them have like the greatest defensive prowess, right? I guess they're best served going forward. But I think that would be a great lineup, having them on that side, and then having obviously Gutman and I guess Etienne on the left side again. And then hopefully Giakoumakis. I don't want to rush him back. If we're getting a goal or 2 goals a game with him subbing in the second half and grabbing his hamstrings, and I swear during the Colorado match, he was like trying to get subbed out in the second half whenever he was in, and he still ended up staying in and scoring that goal. So maybe it's not as bad, but yeah, I mean, Mike German saying Chol as the right winger, right? Or left wing. Are you guys saying left wing or right wing? Kendrick says Chol gets thrown in on one side and Etienne on the other. There were bright spots, I felt like, with Chol. I think like his length and his ability to
I just think he gets so lost in the mix.
Yeah.
I don't think he knows where or what he's supposed to be in this lineup because he's asked to do different roles every time he comes in.
Yeah. Swiss Army knife.
Yeah.
Yeah. Speaking of this Saturday, as we mentioned, Orlando Hate Week. We have no Dan load this week. Again, Dan is out celebrating his 56th birthday, I think.
55th.
Yeah, one for every kid.
Yeah.
Yeah. Sammy he's celebrating his Sammy Hagar.
Yeah.
His Sammy Hagar year. He's drinking some Cabo Wabo tequila. He's stroking his goatee, just doing his best Red Rocket.
Exactly.
Red Rocker, not Red Rocket.
No, he's doing his best Red Rocket. You're right. You had it. Speaking of Dan loads, let's.
Is that just our outro music this week? We're just gonna do it. We're gonna do an English goodbye. So we do have Orlando on Saturday. Orlando Hate Week. Hashtag Orlando's not the South. It's been a long time coming. They are coming. I guess they've had 3 decent results over the past 3 matches. They've gotten 5 points out of those matches. 3 against Inter Miami this past weekend, and then Wednesday they drew NYCFC, and then the match before against Columbus Crew. I honestly don't know a lot about Orlando. I'm so reliant and codependent on Dan James to give me a breakdown of what the other team does. So I'm just gonna tell you, go to who scored. Just look at it. Like they favor long shots. They attack down the left side. They favor through balls.
That's all he does, man. He just gives us the audible version of it.
Yeah.
It's not like he's over there watching every opponent's match leading up to this. Come on.
No, I think the fact that they just stamped out Inter Miami in Fort Lauderdale on Saturday, I think they're turning the tide. We see a little bit of it on Twitter because we do go, we follow some of the Orlando City accounts just because of banter over the years, and it's fun. They're good guys, and seeing some of their reactions. So it definitely, they seem like a fan base divided, not unlike Atlanta United in terms of like what they consider success and how the team is doing. And they have to be feeling good coming into this match. I don't know how good you're feeling going into this match. I don't know if it's a good thing, bad thing with Aruju out of the lineup, especially knowing we're not going to have a different DP, at least for another month. Yeah. I don't know how you're feeling about Saturday's match down in Orlando in the Sawgrass. It's Sawgrass, right? Is that a thing?
I will never, as much as I will always be the voice of reason within the group with my predictions, I cannot bring myself to call a Atlanta loss to Orlando, but I am not so optimistic to think that Atlanta pulls out the win either. So I will say 2-2 draw.
How are you guys feeling in the trap? Give us your score predictions. Hold on just a second. I mean, they've given up. I just want to look at, this is so stupid and blind or whatever, but they've given up not that many goals. 16 goals across 13 matches. So, yeah, fuck it. I'm with Kendrick. Time for Orlando to meet their stepdaddy, George. No, it's the AT&T commercial. You missed such a good opportunity, Kendrick. The Gigillionaire or the Gig Digger commercial from AT&T. The I am Yorgos. He's a stepdad. Come on, get with it. Yeah, GG hat trick, 3-3 draw. I think we win 3-1. I think Yorgos gets on the board with another brace. I don't know who else scores though. Almada maybe. Man, he was so close to scoring off that shot to the far post that dinged off the post, man. Yeah. Against Chicago. That was such a good shot.
Dude, Chicago got really close. That first volley that they had hit the crossbar and shot down. I was like,
yeah, that was Oh, what is that kid's name? He's like an 18-year-old kid from Chicago.
Yeah. I think it starts with a G. I can't remember the name of it though.
Yeah. Mike German saying 4-2 Atlanta. Richard Gordon 2-1 Atlanta. Don't know how we'll do it. Yeah, I don't know either. I'm excited. I'm always excited for these.
Absolutely.
For these rivalry matches. It's rivalry week, I guess. Who else? What other matches we got going on this weekend?
I couldn't even tell you, man. I have
so Montreal and Miami, New England, Chicago. So maybe it's not rivalry week. Yeah, these don't make sense. These aren't rivalries. Never mind. It's not rivalry week. Forget it. Forget I said anything. Just forget it. Just forget it. Yeah. I don't know. I'm excited for it. Just looking forward to them being back on the pitch. Last day of EPL on Sunday. So gonna have nothing but MLS to watch the rest of the summer.
Yeah. There you go.
We somehow did it. We somehow filled up an hour. Just the two of us.
We did it. Just the two of us.
Just the two of us.
Well, thank you guys. It wasn't just the two of us. It was all you in the chat as usual. So thank you for hanging out with us. As always, be sure to like, subscribe, hit the bell icon to get a notification whenever we go live to come hang out with these lovely folks. We will be back, hopefully, with Dan next time. Happy birthday, Dan. You can always drive 55 with us, bud. We'll see you next week. As always, be home before dark.
Might as well jump. Oh, wait, no, that's right now. Damn it. That was the David Lee Roth one.